promise you this. Them boys are hungry, but they don't want it. Not even close like this guy does. I promise you that.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So Derek Lunsford dropped a complete physique update less than 11 weeks out of this year's big show. And this will most probably be the last one from him, where he showed the world all of his mandatories. So first impression, the quads are looking way more impressive than last year. And he has a great separation among them as well. Especially for 11 weeks out, that is amazing condition. They say bodybuilding is all about creating that illusion when you are up on that stage. And that front double biceps on Derek with those huge thick lats, as well as that vacuum that taper down waistline. That, in my opinion, is just ideal. And I have to say this is a perfect scenario for Derek, because he's so impressive in the front relaxed, as well as the front double biceps. He gets all the attention from the judges in those first two shots. Now that front lat spread, that I have to say isn't a strong pose for Derek. But we will see how the flow of his physique looks, as he gets into that contest ready shape, as he gets close to the competition. So the side shot in this update makes it so evident that Derek made some great improvements in those side shots. Remember, it was mentioned after the Olympia last year in the breakdown video that Derek's legs were improved a lot from 2022, and that is why he won both the side shots, the side tricep as well as the side chest. And those were the two shots that he was able to flip against Hadi Choopan. And his quads right now from the side, they are looking just mind-blowing. Now that back double biceps, that we all know is gonna be a showstopper for him. But I have to say he really improved his rear lat spread as well. Now as far as the conditioning is concerned, the guy has glute striations at 11 weeks out. So he is gonna be absolutely shredded in October. I think Derek is gonna hit the both variations of abs and thigh, with the vacuum as well as the crunch down version, especially this year. Because the thing is, he was criticized a lot for doing a vacuum only shot at last year's Miss Olympia. But I have to say, even with the crunch down version, this is Hadi Choopan's shot all day. Now the final question. Will Derek be able to present more density and more maturity in his chest and in his shoulders area? I have to say he might. But if anyone is expecting to see Hadi-like striations within just 1 year, then that isn't happening. Because that is something that is mostly determined by genetics. So as of right now, Derek looks to be in a superb spot. And this is the confidence we all want to see in a champ.
Gotta practice all the poses. Gotta practice this one, bro, okay? Yeah! That's my favorite.
So we are now at 11 weeks out of this year's Miss Olympia. And Terrence also dropped an update. So does anybody know, is Terrence doing the Olympia in 11 weeks? Because he just posted this update where he claimed that his weight has been the heaviest it has ever been in the last 2 years. And the thing is, it's still going up. Because at 11 weeks out, every other competitor has started to come down. Because these guys, especially in classic physique, they do not wait until 2 weeks out to get ready. They are ready weeks out of the show. So this was a real surprise. And yes, I know Terrence is a unique athlete in a sense that he is the only one out of the top 6 or top 7 from last year's Miss Olympia who doesn't have to worry about making weight because he has a lot of room to get bigger. So it hasn't been an ideal year for Terrence, especially in terms of progression. He was dealing with some injuries, specifically some problems with his arms. And that is something that Terrence cannot afford, because that is a big body part for him. And it has been that way ever since he started his pro career. So he jumped from 6th in 2022 to 5th last year. And he was extremely happy with all the 4 looks that he brought to the stage last year. So he was the first one to win the weight pro. And he is the only one who has won the Arnold Classic title twice since Classic Physique division was created. So up until 2021, your height really wasn't seen as an advantage. And Terrence placed 2nd behind Chris Bumstead in 2020 and in 2021. But it will be interesting to see how he compares in the first call out this time, especially if he is aiming to do the Olympia this year, or maybe next year. Next up, we have an update from 3 times men's physique champion, Hendrickson, the guy who placed 2nd behind Ryan Terry last year. But him beating Aaron Banks, that was the biggest revenge for him. Well, Brandon just announced that he won't be doing the Olympia this year, which makes Aaron Banks the biggest threat to Ryan Terry this year. So Brandon wanted to retire from men's physique anyway, But first he wanted to equal the record of 4 title wins of Jeremy Bundia. And honestly, he was superb last year. Nobody expected Ryan Terry to come out and jump from 7th in 2022 to 1st in 2023. And that was the biggest shocker in the men's physique division in the recent times. But he actually did that. So Brandon made his Olympia debut in 2015. So for the first time in almost 9 years, one of the greatest men's physique athletes, he will be missing on the Olympia stage. Even last year, he wasn't so sure about doing the Olympia. I mean, up until 12 weeks out, he was very uncertain. But the thing is, he's a guy who stays so shredded all year long that they were able to bring arguably the best condition of his life, the best shape of his life on the Olympia stage, where he fell short just one spot. So Brandon is also one of those men's physique athletes who have very good legs, and he has shown interest about switching to classic physique sometime in the future. Next up, we have an update of Hunter Labrada. He is a little more than 5 weeks out of his next show, Italy Pro, and expect to see the biggest and possibly the most conditioned version of Hunter Labrada, this time on the stage. So this offseason was amazing for Hunter. So not exaggerating in saying that this was the best offseason of Hunter since he turned pro. He went above 295 pounds at his offseason peak, but still he was very conscious about his midsection and the updates that he posted just after a few weeks of dieting. Those showed how symmetrical his physique looks, top to bottom. So both him and his coach Ben Chow, they have been working together, and last year they were able to present, I think, his very best at Tampa Pro. So Hunter also looked really great at the finals of the Olympia last year. But I believe this year is gonna be different for Hunter, because he is gonna be at least 5 pounds heavier than last year. Well, his own claim was that he is gonna be 10 pounds heavier. But just for the sake of argument, let's just say he's 5 pounds heavier. And if he brings that same hard and dry look that he did at Tampa Pro, that is a top 5 Olympia physique right there. And I have to say, Hunter has no weaknesses anymore. His arms are looking the biggest they have ever looked. The back density looks so insane right now. All he needs is more detail in his abdominals, in his midsection, and is gonna be one of the most dangerous guy out there, even for the top 5 at the Olympia level. So waiting to hear the official announcement by Rubiel Mosquera, because Chris Cormier said that he is gonna do Italy Pro next. But I don't think Rubiel is at a point in his career right now where he can beat a guy like Hunter Labrada. The difference in the conditioning alone, that is gonna be so much between Hunter and Rubiel. And just for your information, Rubiel was only getting 150 grams of carbs for weeks leading into this year's Dubai Pro, and he still wasn't able to bring the condition. So 150 for such a big guy, for such a huge frame, who was 304 pounds just 5 weeks before the show, that is literally nothing. And you cannot question Rubiel's hard work, and also his work ethic, because the thing is, he suffered really hard for this one. So maybe Rubiel just needs more time, and maybe he can focus on doing more shows, so that he can get more detailed, more separation, because that is what people want to see on him.
Now he's starting to carb up a little bit, I think, starting tomorrow, because he's been on just 150 grams for a long time.
Next up, we have a 75 days out physique update of Wesley Wiesers. So look at the feathers on those triceps, that deep separation in his quads, and that V-taper, that is looking better than ever. So if this is Wesley's condition at 11 weeks out, there is no reason to doubt that when this man says that he's gonna beat his own classic package in 11 weeks time, he's gonna do it. And keep in mind, with that package, he was able to beat all the other guys except for Chris Bumstead. He went from 7th at the Olympia to 1st at the Arnold. He's such a driven individual. He spends his day like a robot when it comes to doing all the tasks that are necessary to be the best in the world. And I have to say, it's just a matter of time at this point. Now, he doesn't have as good of a classic structure as Chris Bumstead, but he might be more bigger, more muscular than Chris, especially in some shots. So the one critique that he received from the judges after winning this year's Arnold, that was to work more on his hamstrings and his glutes. And you bet that there are going to be improvements in those areas come October. So ideally speaking, Wesley would like to have bigger quads, especially from the front, because he is so wide up top. And he can have more V-taper if he had bigger quads. But those separation in his legs, that makes him such a unique athlete. So there is just no way this new version of Wesley doesn't finish in this year's Olympia top 3. So last year he was 7th, and that will be a huge jump. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.